The TLDR is if you want to lose weight, eat less by employing various tactics to trick your body into feeling full. Keep the weight off by strictly controlling the size of dishware in your home. Take the easy route by suppressing your appetite with the magic pill. To gain muscle, focus on weightlifting. Take the easy route by using steroids from your local gym dealer. Like the video, give me your money, but don't subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hey there. Are you excited to be back? No. Control yourself. Alright, I know it's been 6 months, but we're back, bitch. Welcome back to the Verus Disputatio Collectio. Are you fat? Are you skinny? Do niggas call you some variation of fatty or stick man? No. Wait, how'd you take that off? Yes, the rumors are true. The answer to losing weight is eating less. It's not just a meme. The issue is that the simple words eat less could mean a variety of things, and only some of those things actually make you lose weight and keep it off. For example, some people diet. When I say diet, you probably think something to the effect of a well-curated list of foods that you're allowed to consume. Others may think that you just have less food to eat per meal. Do you know why that shit doesn't work? Because you gotta diet for the rest of your fucking life. That's right. You don't eat kale for a couple months, lose a shit ton of weight, and then go back to eating whatever you want. You will keep eating kale until you sunset, and that's no way to live. I want to make sure you got this in your head. Real shit. If you are fat, and are fine with that, then you have no reason to stress yourself about losing weight. As long as you don't demand the society changes to suit your body, then no one actually gives that much of a shit. Are you unhealthy? Yes. Will you die early? Probably not. Does being fat mean you're ugly? Not really. Does being fat mean you're less of a person? No. If you lose any weight at all, you gotta do it for yourself. Don't think of this as self-improvement, it's just change, metamorphosis. And if that makes your hair fall out because you can't eat steak anymore, then is that change worth it? Be hedonistic. If that shit doesn't make you happy, don't bother. You got 75 years on this planet and 20 of them are already gone. You have other shit to worry about, like finding friends. Losing weight is all about balancing your intake versus your expenditure. The expenditure part is easy. We have plenty of studies that point to your normal calorie usage rate being about 75 per hour, so roughly 1,800 calories doing fuck all for an entire day. But if you actually exercise, then your expenditure of course increases, and as a result you can eat more and actually get away with it. There are tricks that niggas have been using for the past 50 years to lose weight, but like I mentioned earlier, unless you plan to eat like that for the rest of your life, then those tricks will only get you so far. However, this doesn't mean they don't work. Keto, water fasting, paleo, they all work when compared to the trash you're eating right now, but they are also not very fun. So if you want to craft a diet bible for yourself, then you need to understand what parts make these diets work. And the main goal that every diet tries to achieve, directly or indirectly, is something called ketosis. Basically tricking your body into using your fat reserves for energy as if you're starving. Why not just starve yourself? Well, that's because, for whatever fucking reason, your body uses the energy reserves out of fucking order. Instead of eating the fat cells for energy, which is the whole fucking point of having fat, your body will opt to eat your muscles first because they contain more energy. Mind you, this is only happening when your body is starving. But if that's the case, how the fuck do we, not be fat when we're starving? The key is to actually use the muscle. The body eats away whatever the fuck it thinks it doesn't need. So if you diet alone, with no exercise at all included, then your body will eventually get to thinking, what's up with the muscle stuff here? We need that? I don't think we need that. I'm going to delete it. I'll talk more about this later. You ever hear those words? The key is a healthy diet and exercise. It's not complete and utter bullshit. The real words are eat enough to repair your muscles after a workout and keep the muscles active enough to convince your body not to eat them. Okay, Phoenix, I get we're supposed to do that, but how do we do it? My uncle told me that veganizer early. Let's talk nutrition for a while. In particular, that corporation-lobbied scam that the USDA tricked this country into believing, the food pyramid. The American diet, and half the reason our country is one of the fattest in the world, can be attributed to the misunderstanding or even the outright deception of this one fucking chart. I'm not getting deep into the history, but just know that ever since the 1950s, we have been outright lied to about what constitutes a healthy diet, and our food production industry, which we trust to provide us with sustenance, has been in on the joke the entire fucking time. Not only the things you buy at the store, but what you consider to be the hallmarks of your various meals of the day, the traditional meals you may have grown up eating, and the entire mentality you have towards your tastes and meal prep have all been fucked senseless by this crime on the American people. Okay. Right, this is the food pyramid you remember. The issue with this is that grains, the number one food on the bottom, is one of the fastest ways to gain fat since they convert almost directly into fat cells. Now, think of a meal that you can eat without grain. Good fucking luck. Some of the best food mankind has ever devised is paired with rice, bread, or some variation of noodle. Living a life without grain is absolutely unthinkable and a little bit evil, honestly. Who the fuck would want to eat a hamburger with no bun? Spaghetti with no noodles? Rice with no, I don't know. Who the fuck would forsake rice? You can flip this problem on its head and say the same shit about sugar. Bread is basically sugar, so from the very fucking beginning, you were breaking this pyramid. Sugar and salt make things taste way fucking better. How do you swear off of them? Here's my hot take. Don't fucking bother. The food pyramid is just a big fucking diet, and it scams you just like all the others. Even the variant of this food pyramid that has been created since Michelle Obama basically reformed the USDA is still just another fucking diet. The majority of your weight, and a lot of other shit, is impacted the most by the quantity of shit you eat. If you eat a lot, you get bigger. If you eat less, you get smaller. The things you eat aren't that important. Don't get me wrong. If you eat garbage all day to fulfill your calorie quota using shitty food, you're probably going to have a shitty body. But when I say shitty body, I don't mean fat. I mean that your heart will give out at the ripe age of 34, or sooner. Eating like shit and still maintaining your calorie count means that even though you most likely won't fucking inflate like a lard balloon because you lack the other vitamins and minerals that your body needs to literally function day to day, you will go to sleep and not wake up the next morning, or ever again.
But Phoenix, that's because you're not eating organic. Your food has been chock full of corn syrup and preservatives that'll give you cancer. And my uncle told me...
The word organic doesn't mean a goddamn thing over here in the United States. It's not the fucking 1900s anymore, where the average height was 5'5", you work for 12 hours in a day, and your wife was as bony as a lamppost. We're bigger. Not just because the world is fatter on average, but because our species has been indirectly pumped with growth hormones so fucking strong they actually carry through generations. Every fucking cow on our soil right now is a result of these growth hormones being put into practice. Is this bad? No. Is it unnatural? Yes, and this is the crux of the issue when talking about organic. The word unnatural has a negative connotation that doesn't actually mean jack shit. Although our government lies to us from time to time, for the most part, its enforcement on food safety standards are pretty fucking good. This unnatural food is not only pretty fucking tasty, but it's also safe to eat. Most of the time, anyway. Organic, and all the things the word implies, is a scam. Organic just means we had it in soil that hasn't been exposed to chemicals on this list that the government gave us. Is the soil an actual earth? What about the chemicals not on the government's list? Listen, if you get pissy about how these niggas make a buck, they'll just cut corners and the food will only get more unhealthy. And animal ethics actually makes food taste debatably worse than if you just treated the animal like shit and grew that nigga like a plant in a greenhouse. Ethically sourced food is bullshit, and you should stop burning your money because the label is green and it has a fucking checkmark in the middle. Don't be ignorant. Buy the cheap shit. If it doesn't taste good, then get a different fucking brand. Consumerism is your power. Now, let's talk about grass-fed cows and happy chickens. Do they taste different? Yes. But do they taste better? That's subjective. You are probably someone who grew up on the cheap grain-fed chuck from a farm miles away. You made it this fucking far. Your heart hasn't given out, you didn't grow an extra toe, and your liver hasn't fallen out of your ass. You're fine. And because we live in a capitalist society, our world is driven by supply and demand. If we really like the taste of grass-fed cows better, we would see companies switch over to grass-fed. But the meat is expensive. It takes 2 times as long to get a grass-fed cow ready for slaughter than a grain-fed one. And the meat quantity harvested isn't as much. So that's a premium. And if you got the money to be paying that premium every time you shop, go ahead and sub to my Worse than the cost, the meat isn't as tender. It doesn't cook as well, and it doesn't taste like what you grew up with. Humans don't like change. And this will taste like change to anyone who grew up outside of an upper middle class household. Don't fucking at me. Here's another thing about grass-fed. Free range, natural, whatever the fuck label you can find on the card. Even if you like the meat, that does not mean it's hormone-free or additive-free. That's another $10 premium per pound. You want to lose weight? You literally can't afford to care about the fucking animal you're eating. So, your plants might be loaded up with miscellaneous chemicals you've never heard of, and your meat doesn't stand up to any pearl clutching standards that have been set. What's the fucking point in paying more for less? Allow me to introduce a food pyramid created by this absolute chad of a man. I took off all the weird branding that may look like a get fit quick Ponzi scheme, but the gist of this chart is what I was talking about in the nutrition section. The most important part of what you eat is quantity, how much you've eaten. The next part, which I can pretty much combine with this macro part, is quality, what you eat. If quantity was the majority of the reason you can't lose weight, this is the other majority. Timing is a myth. You can eat at 11 p.m., it doesn't fucking matter. Hydration is a null point. Humans get thirsty when they need water. So even if you do sports, this instinct can only be pushed back so far before your body craves it anyway. Don't worry about measuring when the fuck you drink. That's a meme. We've been doing this shit for thousands of years. We were fine. I think we'll be fine for another few thousand. And supplements only work if you're deficient in that nutrient. More on that later. So following this pyramid for your overall health is far better.
Phoenix, I can't do it. I'm hungry all the time. I can't lose weight, man. I never feel full, man. I ate a large pizza by myself and it feels like a snack, man. What am I gonna do?
What the fuck do you mean a snack? I've been putting off talking about this topic despite it being the biggest reason why niggas get fat. Despite how easy it is compared to calories in, calories out, the problem is seldom understanding. It's usually an issue of putting those understandings into practice. There are so many ways that you invoke hunger or cravings that it's difficult to pin down why it happens exactly. But we can deal with hunger. I'm not talking about that meditation bullshit, but we can use actual psychological tricks and even biological habits to break away from the issue of overeating.
Well, Phoenix, the issue was a hormone in the gastrointestinal tract called ghrelin. Ghrelin isn't just responsible for hunger, it also impacts.
I'm not going to say smaller portions, because that's difficult to reinforce. The issue with diets and such is that they're sweeping lifestyle changes, and breaking and creating habits is difficult as fuck. So what can you do? Well, if you make it so fucking inconvenient that you really can't be fucked to game the system, then you win. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Dinner is cooked. You grab a plate, head back to the PC to get back into your Discord call. After you finish eating, you just leave the plate there. And after the call, maybe, you go put it in the sink. If your household uses plastic plates and you have a trash can in your room, even more powerful. You just throw that shit in the trash, shower, then head to bed. Well, why didn't you get more? Was it because you were full? Well, that might be the case, but the more likely reason is just because it was too much fucking trouble. Try this next time. If you eat 3 chicken breasts normally, grab a breast and a thigh and go back to your room. Eat the chicken, and then drink a glass of water. I'm willing to bet that despite being half of what you usually eat, you won't be hungry after that. There's this weird thing in our brains where when we finish a plate or a bowl of whatever fucking container of food, your brain hits a switch that puts us into a satisfied state. It doesn't work all the time. If the food really isn't enough, your brain will still be wanting more, but usually just getting a smaller bowl of cereal instead of eating half the fucking box in one sitting will easily flip that switch. Your stomach is only so fucking big. It's 12 by 6. You can't fit that much food into a 12 by 6. It's not 12 feet, it's 12 inches. And if you're one of my non-God country brethren, it's 31 by 15 centimeters. If you drink while you eat, you'll have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. But if you're somebody who eats on some marathon type shit that only drinks after you're done eating, you'll notice all the fucking sudden that you don't want to eat anymore. Water, like most liquids, flows through your digestion system really fucking quickly. And when you do marathon eating without drinking, your brain at no point ever thinks to actually check how much you've already fucking consumed. It's insane. Your brain checks after it thinks we're done eating, which can be like 30 minutes or something. If you drink water though, it's like a wake-up call. Oh shit, something went through the digestive system really fucking quickly. Let me see what that was. Holy shit, look at all this food in here. Yeah, we don't need it anymore. Turn that fucking hunger thing off. I'm pretty sure this works with tea and lemonade, but Kool-Aid is iffy and soda is super sus. Find a brand of chewing gum and buy a fucking tub of that shit. What niggas fail to realize, especially if they've never been cripplingly fat, is that usually fat people don't actually love food. Food is just what they use to occupy themselves when idle. Some niggas flip coins, some spin a fidget spinner, and some snack on Twinkies. Why? Because it's easy and you can just grab a bag and go. I see a lot of fucking articles about healthy snacks and I'm like, you fucks are missing the point. These people are lazy, not hungry. No one wants to heat up an entire fucking house just to roast asparagus chips. And even if you do, they last through one gaming session, if even that. I don't fucking care what weird keto recipe you have as a great snack. You don't give a damn about the serving size. You don't even notice it when you blow through your entire fucking bag of Swedish fish. The solution is to just chew gum. Most chewing gum, as long as it isn't sweetened, like fucking Hubba Bubba or some shit, works as very potent appetite suppressant. More importantly, you won't feel the need to snack on chips or zebra cakes or anything because you already have a snack. The gum. It doesn't hurt that gum helps you focus as well, so maybe you won't go 3-27-5 next game. Get a gum that isn't very strong but lasts a long ass time. You won't notice the flavor is gone if you're doing something else like playing a game, but watching YouTube or a stream isn't as stimulating, so you're probably not going to be able to keep your attention off the flavor of what you're chewing. For your convenience, I found a list of the longest lasting gums in terms of chewing time. If you got that sloppy toppy mouth with... If you got that sloppy toppy mouth with high power flavor sucking action, these might last for a shorter amount of time, but you can just buy more gum. You've had enough to buy the season pass. Don't fucking lie and say you can't afford some fucking doublemint. You can extend the time on gum just by eating 2 pieces at once. It doesn't double the time, but it should tide you over until you refocus on your negative KDA. Stop eating until you're full. Eat until you're content. I know in trick 1, I said this is super easy if all the plates in your house are small, but how are you going to do this unless you live alone? If you live with someone else, they might not be trying to lose weight like that. So throwing out all the ceramic plates that your mom found at the flea market for $9 every 10 plates will only lower your lifespan, not your weight. The solution is just follow this rule, because the effect is just as powerful. If you get full off the serving bowl sized portion of cereal you ate, try going down to the smaller serving bowl next time you get some. Maybe a mixing bowl this time. If that satisfies you, try going down to a Tupperware sized bowl. And if that one worked, get a normal bowl. You might be thinking, God damn, I haven't used a bowl this small since I was a fucking child. Spoiler alert, that's not a small bowl. But you've been using such a large fucking bowl for such a long fucking time that it feels like you're just looking down the mortals from the fucking mountaintop. Try it. You should not feel sleepy after eating. If you do, it was too much food. Do better, go less. Notice, I don't ask you to count calories on the box for a lot of this fucking guide. Listen man, not every piece of cereal is created equal. And your calorie aim, realistically, isn't a nice whole number like 1,800. It's probably going to look something more like 1,922.567423 or some bullshit. There are no fucking exacts, and calories are the exact same thing. They don't count every piece of cereal they put into a box. They measure the weight and estimate how many calories are in there. But the estimation can be off by up to 200 calories sometimes. For better or for worse, your body is the easiest way to tell how much you need to eat. You just need to recognize the signs. Do you think those assholes in Finland are sitting there counting their calories? You think they all just have fast metabolism? Of course not. They're skinny for 2 reasons up there in Finland. Number 1 is they have shift food. Alright, nobody wants to eat that shit unless they have to. And nobody wants to hear that. They have shit food, except for everybody who was in Finland. Fuck Finland. Alright, and 2, they have plenty of government systems in place to make sure they never go hungry. They don't often have situations, like here in the US, where you eat until you're bursting because you don't know when your next meal is. They also don't bother much with the lessons of eat everything on your plate or you go hungry. Parenting is way gentler over there. Most fat people are poor, and being poor influences not just how much food you can buy and how much you can eat, but also how you eat and when you eat. For such a simple root problem, the after effects cascade a lot further than you might think. The circumstances that surround your economic status are just as at fault as you are for your shitty body. You gotta think of it like this. Overeating is like filling a cup with water, and the cup drains slowly over time. You fill to the brim, because that's the most you can fit into the cup, and you won't have to fill it up again for a while. But anything that spills over becomes fat. Don't you think the easier thing to do is to fill the cup 3/4 of the way? I know you gotta put more water into the cup sooner, so it doesn't run empty, but that's better than overfilling the fucking cup. This is even more difficult because unless your skin is made of a see-through material, you can't see the cup. When you eat, you're guessing how much space the food will fill after chewing it and how long it'll take to digest. You are filling a cup blind, and going over the cup makes you fat. So the solution is to stop eating until you're full. It's fucking cursed. Move out. I know, the reason you can't lose weight is because your mom keeps buying really unhealthy food, because she remembered you like it when you were 15, and you low-key still do, but you know damn well that you shouldn't be eating so much of it, but it was on sale, and she bought bulk because it saves money. She wasn't like this when you were younger. Back then you could see the back of the fridge every fucking day, but now, you're older and out of school, is like a fucking ever-filling chalice. Every time you take a sip, more appears. God forbid you end up sitting in your room all innocent-like, then you get a knock on your door. Yeah? I bought you McDonald's. Why? I'll take it, but damn, man. If you live on your own, the only thing coming to your doorstep is another impulse-bought package from Amazon. With no distractions, you'll find it way easier to stick to a diet. Diet, once again, is just food. Not keto, not no meat, not vegan, not bullshit. When I say diet, I just mean food. If you eat Doritos all day today, that was today's diet. Okay? Okay, just being sure we're all on the same page here. You spent your money on 2 pounds of salmon, and there's no way you're letting it expire before you knock it all back, because each pound is like $22. No one else will eat it. It's just you. Another aspect of moving out, if you have siblings, you won't have to defensively eat anymore. For those of you without siblings, feel blessed. You don't have to experience getting a box of nuggets and your fat-ass brother finish his box and ask for one of yours, and then you say no, then your mom says don't be a brat, share with your fucking brother, but mom, it's mine! This terrible oversight by parents has bred generations and generations of overweight children because the rationale that develops is, if I eat it first, I won't have to share it later. It's absolutely terrible, toxic, and if you're a decent human, you won't do that shit to your kids. Don't make them share shit if it's theirs. I don't care that you just want the other one to shut up. Put your fucking foot down, be a real parent, and say no. I don't have a brother, by the way. I'm not speaking from personal experience, but I saw my best friend growing up get hit with that shit all the time. It's really fucking infuriating. I got off track. Anyway, move out. You can't be tempted with honey butter biscuits if they don't appear like fucking magic on the kitchen counter when you walk out of your room to stare vapidly at the fridge. And stop doing that. You're murdering the fucking light bill. I'm not going to get into it. I talk about it a lot in the wealth video. If you have money issues, get that handled by heeding my wealth wisdom. This one's going to be controversial, but you can suck my balls, okay? 1 tab of Broncaid Max, or normal Broncaid if your pharmacy doesn't have it. 200 milligrams of caffeine pills. Not that weird mixed shit, but it needs to be pure caffeine. Rite Aids works. And 81 milligrams of aspirin. Baby aspirin in particular. This is ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin, the ECA stack. I don't care what natural bullshit you come up with, tea tree oil, green tea extract, they're all bullshit in comparison to a god like this. The risk of using this is that if you take too much caffeine, your heart will fucking fail. But you drink coffee every day, what are you scared of? This isn't clenbuterol. Stop being a pussy. Walk into your local pharmacy, ask for some Broncaid, and if they ask why you need it, you just say, you want to interrogate me over my asthma? Let me see your fucking supervisor. Sign the paper saying you only bought 2 boxes, pay the oddly small amount of money, $26 or something, and then walk the fuck out with your 100% legal ephedrine. And not that sketchy online hellfire ephedra shit that only has a fraction of the good stuff. Hey, this is Editing Phoenix here. I just wanted to add something in about these appetite suppressants. I'm sure that a question that's going to pop up is, if none of these things work, why are there so many of them on the market? Who keeps buying these? And the answer is idiots. In order to explain why these things don't work and what they're actually doing, I have to explain what ephedrine is. In particular, the ephedrine sinica, which is a plant that was grown in China. It was used for the longest time in a tea called Ma Huang tea, and this tea has very powerful appetite suppressant abilities. Like, you think the fucking Broncaid is powerful. No, this is crazy. If you drink a tea brewed with this herb, you could go without eating for days at a time. Now, mind you, the fact that you're still not getting your macronutrients in, that's a huge problem. You would die. Like, you would fall ill because you're not getting all the nutrients you needed. So it's dangerous to drink that tea. You can't bring that plant over here. Like, U.S. Customs and Imports stops it, at least in the year of 2021. But you can buy seeds, and if you're able to germinate them, you can just grow your own plant. That is legal, and you can brew a tea with that. You would get pretty much the same effects. If you are on a crash course to lose as much weight as possible, then this is how you do it. You grow your Ma Huang tea. Now the tea that you can buy online is the real shit. It's still the diluted shit. After the USA found out this shit was dangerous, and they put the ban on it, they still found that the plant had uses. It just had to be regulated, like, really fucking strongly. So the solution was to separate it. We have ephedra, which is the diluted part of the plant, is like 0.1% of the overall capabilities of the ephedra sinica. And then we have ephedrine, which is still diluted. It's still not the full power of the plant, but it's purified. It's distilled. I shouldn't say distilled, because distilled means concentrated. It's purified, right? It's processed. It's heavily processed for use in asthma medication, because ephedra has a really good effect when it comes to clearing up your lungs. The Chinese used it for sickness. Like if you had the flu or something, you were good. After we separated like that, the US was like, okay, we still have to make sure no dope fiends get this. I don't know who's a dope fiend over weight loss supplements, but whatever. We have to make sure the dope fiends don't get this. Okay, how do we do it? Well, we need to regulate asthma medication. And people who had asthma were really fucking upset about this. They were like, I can't get my asthma medication because this guy doesn't fucking believe I have asthma. I don't have a fucking asthma card, buddy. So they had to stop that. And now anybody can walk into your pharmacy and ask, over the counter, of course, hey, can I get some asthma medication? If they ask any questions, it's a problem legally. So they don't. And this stuff, while still not as strong as the Ma Wang tea, it's still very fucking potent. So let's talk about these weight loss supplements that you'll see online that are being sold to you, because you cannot buy ephedrine anywhere but over the counter at your local pharmacy. Not here in the US. In Canada, you can just pop it off the shelf, or you can pop it off in an online store, but not here in the US. These supplements are using a combination of ephedra, which is the super diluted shit, but it's legal, and it can trick you into thinking it's ephedrine when it's not ephedrine at all. It's not nearly as powerful, not even a fraction as powerful. And the other supplements I was mentioning earlier, like green tea extract and shit. It'll suppress your appetite for a short amount of time, but your body will adapt to it very quickly, so it's not very useful. This section really should have been longer to go over why this stuff doesn't fucking work. Oh yeah, I forgot. The other thing they put in is a shit ton of caffeine. A lot of caffeine. Way too much caffeine. I'm talking heart-stopping amounts of caffeine. Like, these online pills are somewhat fucking dangerous just because of the caffeine content. And I know earlier I was talking about how if you drink Starbucks, you're pretty much drinking upwards of 600 milligrams of caffeine a day anyway. But like, these guys don't fucking stop. They're asking you to take 2 fucking pills every 6 hours. You'll die. If you're going to do anything that has to do with artificially suppressing your appetite, then you need ECA stack. There are stronger ways of suppressing your appetite. I mentioned it briefly, but clenbuterol is one. But clenbuterol is absurdly dangerous because clenbuterol, unlike the ECA stack, has a lot of side effects: sweats, heart palpitations. Like you'll become dehydrated, you'll faint. Clenbuterol is very dangerous. It's more extreme than ECA stack, and I don't advertise it because it's not safe. I don't think so anyway. If you have control over yourself and you are really, really desperate and you're trying to get a summer body within a month, well, clenbuterol will do it, but crack cocaine will also do it. So it's your choice, right? The ECA stack has been used in bodybuilding communities as an energy booster and a stupidly potent appetite suppressant. Let's talk about quality. And what are healthy foods exactly? Good fucking luck trying to figure that out. The list of what foods are viable and healthy changes pretty much every fucking year. And some doctors will endorse something like yogurt, and other doctors will say yogurt will make your kidneys die. When it comes down to it, you mainly gotta intuit what you're supposed to be eating, because as we saw earlier, even the food pyramid is lying to you. Generally, you can get by with protein, a carb, and a fat. But buying those macros at your local supermarket opens the Pandora's box of what's actually on the fucking ingredients list. For those of you not in the know, the ingredients on the ingredients list here in America are sorted by the amount of said ingredient. So, if you bought mashed potatoes and potatoes are the 7th ingredient on the fucking box, consider throwing that shit in the trash. You can avoid all of this just by cooking. But 90% of you fuckers, for some reason or another, are allergic to standing next to a stove with no food on it. Listen, you gotta learn how to cook, nigga. It's not fucking hard. This isn't some weird holier-than-thou elitist bullshit. Your species has been cooking with nothing but fire and rocks since they've existed. You don't need to make a 5-star meal or some shit. Cooking is just putting the ingredients into a pan, making the pan hot, thus making the food hot, and hot food tastes better than cold food. It becomes easier to eat, harmful bacteria are destroyed, and beneficial bacteria activate, or something like that. Don't worry about burning. With most foods, if you burn it a bit, it only makes it taste better, and it's cheaper to cook the shit yourself. You learn a lot of crazy tricks as well. Like, did you know brown sugar is just sugar and molasses? Light brown sugar is less molasses, and dark brown sugar is more molasses. Why are you buying a small box of brown sugar for $8 when you can just make it? Brown sugar is fucked to get out of the box without spilling it anywhere, so when you need it, just mix that shit together. Stuff like this makes cooking so much more manageable. Remember, this is 30%, if even that, of why you're fat. Does it really fucking matter what you eat? As long as you get the vitamins and minerals you need, while staying under your calorie cap, you will lose weight. What those foods are almost irrelevant. Fact of the matter is, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. Grab a meat and grab a vegetable. You can't listen to everything these fuckers tell you, or you'll never smile again. As long as you have a meat and a veggie, you're fucking fine. Now, there is some bullshit going around about the type of meat you get. You gotta get grass-fed, you gotta get GMO-free, it has to be produced in Chapo's Trap House. Whatever the fuck. Here's the strat. Fuck what they say. Fuck the ethics. You get $12, put meat on the fucking table, and grass-fed, ethical animal products cost 50% more fucking money. You want to be ethical? You can pay my bills and buy my food, or you can eat my ass. You understand? The story goes, grass-fed cows have omega-6, an essential oil, and if you get grain-fed beef instead of grass-fed, you won't have any omega-6. Okay, so do you buy grass-fed? No, you go eat some fucking fish, you absolute loser. Another side of this weird fucking label shit is the labels that they give to vegetables. So another story goes, if you cook any vegetable, they lose nutrients. Now, what isn't told to you is what nutrients they lose. And as it turns out, each fucking vegetable loses like 1 nutrient upon cooking them. I fuck with broccoli heavy. I like roasting it in olive oil and seasoning with, I don't know, Tony's. Salt and pepper works, but Tony's is way better. I fuck with Tony's heavy. No one wants to eat any of this shit raw, if you're sane, at least. Raw vegetables are fucking gross. So, what do you lose by cooking broccoli, and how much of it do you lose?
You lose 40% vitamin C. That's it.
So, are you going to stop cooking your broccoli and start eating that shit raw like you're a goddamn giraffe? No, of course not. You need some fucking vitamin C, drink some orange juice. All the vegetables are like this. You lose 1 vitamin, up to 80% if you cook it. They mislead the fuck out of you and act like the veggie is worthless as soon as it touches any fucking heat. It's not true. It retains almost everything but that 1 vitamin or mineral. Guess what? You don't eat just fucking broccoli all day long. You eat plenty of shit to make up for the loss of whatever vitamin is missing. And if you're really fucked up, use the fucking supplements or get a multivitamin. It makes no sense not to cook your fucking vegetables. Salads are miserable. Have some fucking spice in your life. Even if you deep fry your veggies, it still retains a lot of value nutritionally. Speaking of deep frying, why is it so fucking demonized? Why do you think? It's because of the fucking oil you use, surprisingly enough. I have no clue what the fuck is wrong with canola or vegetable oil. Oil is oil, right? Who fucking cares? It's cheap as fuck. Trans fat. That's the answer. It's probably the worst fat there is. We used to think it was saturated, but no, turns out it's trans fat. Trans fat is fucked. All along this guide, I've been trying to get you to cut corners and save money. These niggas say red meat only. Listen, if you just cut the fat off of whatever meat you get, it's fine. But for this, oil? No. You gotta bite the bullet. Lard is better than this shit, apparently, and it's really cheap as well. Don't get this twisted, however. You won't die. Remember, what you eat is only like 30% of the reason, if that, you can't lose weight. And oil is 1% of 1%. Don't stress it if canola or vegetable oil is all you got in the house. Country boys make do. But if you fry every day and eat fried foods like there's no other way to cook a meal, then you are in trouble if you stick with those oils. By now, I think you get the point. Thank you for watching.
But Phoenix, I'm not fat. I want to get swole and impress the hoes. I ain't got no hoes, Phoenix. I want to get big so I can get some motherfucking hoes.
Please. Okay, we'll talk about muscle. This is actually a lot more simple than weight. It's why even if you're as stupid as a bag of rocks, you can still get strong as fuck. The activity of building muscle is as simple as tearing your muscle fibers so they grow back stronger. Your body does not like you tearing your muscles, however. It will do a bunch of different things to signal to you, stop, via a variety of different painful sensations. The only reason your muscles will regrow stronger is to prevent you from tearing them again. I want to make it clear throughout all of this section that when I say tear, I'm talking about micro tears. You know micro tears when, after a strenuous activity, your muscles are sore and built up with lactic acid. Major tears are something completely different, and those will usually require some type of surgery or lengthy rehabilitation to correct and fix. You get major tears by doing way too much in your workout, so take that shit easy. Something also important to keep in mind when trying to build muscle is that your body has a hard cap on how much muscle it's willing to grow. Just like how you'll forever stay under 6 feet, lonely and unsatisfied in any of your pursuits, your muscles will only be able to grow up to 45% bigger naturally. But most of your growth will be in how strong your muscle fibers become. Outside of rare genetic mutations, no one is able to grow their muscles bigger than 45% of starting mass, more or less, because of this hard cap. However, you can still become stronger. As long as you manage to tear your muscle fibers, they will regrow stronger than they were. After maybe a year and some change of tearing them, your muscles won't grow back that much stronger than they were before they were torn. And as much as meatheads hate to hear this, the act of working out simply becomes an act of maintaining at that point. Your body will do as much as it can to cut unnecessary energy being expended, and having muscles bigger than the size of your fucking door is what your body would consider as unnecessary. Muscles eat up a shit ton of energy, and simply by existing, ups the calorie cap by nearly 1K at max potential. So they're a great way to lose fat, but as you age they'll soften, and those inflated muscles don't disappear, they just thin out. So it's easy to build them back up, but like a balloon with stale air, eventually they'll grow limp and unwilling. Shit, I could have did a penis joke. God damn it. Thus, even before that, your body will seek to self-cannibalize your... Man, I want to do the penis... Can I go back? No, fuck it. Whatever, bro. Where was I? Thus, even before that, your body will seek to self-cannibalize your muscle and regrow its stores, because those are far more crucial for survival. Do you remember what we said about organic? Multiple fucking times? Well, same shit here. Unless you're doing some type of competition in good faith, or you have some pre-existing health condition that could put you at risk, there is no reason to avoid things like steroids. Like the ECA stack and MSG, steroids have been portrayed and maligned in such a dramatic way that it would be useless to try debunking all the misinfo out there. Don't be scared of them. Anabolic steroids or other testosterone boosters are, for the most part, safe to use. Not for extended periods and not for 8 injections every day, but like everything else, fine in moderation. I won't get into how steroids exist outside the competitive circles at the top of any ranking list you can think of, but I know that guy is sitting there, fuming, with muscles bigger than my fucking monitor, slowly using his elephant-sized fingers to type out an incoherent defense of anabolic steroids. I get it. They're demonized. Yes, the risk is overblown, and yes, it works.
But Phoenix, you haven't said I can grow muscle. I want to get swole, Phoenix. I want to beat up my school bully at our high school reunion in 15 years, despite him not really remembering me, saying sorry when I confront him, and explaining how he had a sad home life, was working a miserable factory job, and lost his mother to cancer a week before starting school. Yet after getting over his loss, and his life getting progressively better, he still felt pressure to keep up his act of bullying me to maintain his friend group and love interests who find nothing more entertaining than him assaulting me in the middle of the hallway during lunch period. I want to maim him, Phoenix. I want to maim him so badly that his two daughters don't recognize him, Phoenix. And then when I was asleep with his wife, the same girl who he's been dating since high school and has stuck with him through thick and thin and somehow beating all the statistics stacked against high school sweethearts in the glorious country of the United States of America. All because he shoved me in the hallway that one time and poured his drink all over my Yu-Gi-Oh cards that other time. Not unprovoked, mind you. I was staring at his girlfriend and telling my friend how big her tits were. She heard me, complained to him, and thus obtained reasonable justification to treat me like the way he did. But I want to acknowledge that I'll spend the next 10 years fuming on Tumblr about how I was bullied without anyone asking me why I was bullied, because luckily for me the act has become stigmatized so strongly that like a beaten and battered wife who threw out her husband's Xbox TV and other expensive electronics holding with 50K value, I'm the victim.
That shit stopped being funny halfway through. But then it kept going. It became kind of funny again. I think I'm going to keep it. So, tearing muscles is how you grow them and make them stronger. Well, how do you tear them the best? I don't want to do another rant here, but the research on working out is so fucking childish that I am honestly convinced there's some sort of backdoor scheme having something to do with selling more machines and equipment instead of actually furthering the meta on gaining muscle. You can go on Google Scholar and see all this shit for yourself. These niggas spend more time shit-talking other theories and studies than actually doing studies, and the studies that they are doing have multiple issues with sample size, methodology, or actual proofs they can use. At this point, everything I'm saying needs to be taken lightly. Not because it's inaccurate, but because every good practice I might be able to advise for you, there's another study saying it's retarded, and you should do skydiving instead. Even the experts that I hired on Fiverr for secondary testimony and consultation are split in what they consider to be better practices, and the nuance between why you're training and what muscle groups you should encourage to grow is huge. Some even say that muscle groups are more or less bullshit and targeted training is a scam. All we can do is infer on all of this. Even after 100 years, no one really knows what the best way to become strong and grow muscle is. But my take? Don't listen to anyone about burpees, muscle confusion, or anything having to do with long workouts. Your goal is to create as many tears in your muscle fibers as possible without hurting yourself, and taking your happy ass home so you can sit alone in your room silently. In short, the exercises that we're looking for should emphasize overload. Well, how do you achieve overload? You lift weights. In particular, you want to do deadlifts or dumbbell squats in combination with bench presses or chest press. It doesn't have to be these exact exercises, but you want something close to these. Constantly increase your load. Keep your reps and sets the same. If you run out of load to increase your reps, not your sets. I would say rep until failure, but that can be dangerous and result in the wrong type of muscle tearing. Don't get me wrong, it works, but what you want to emphasize in your workout more than anything else is overloading your muscles and going home. This does not take a lot of time, just a lot of weight. If you've ever helped someone move into their new place, then it's literally the same concept. You're overloading your muscles with very heavy shit. You can lift a lot of light shit for 8 hours and still not reach anywhere near the same results as heavy lifting. So if overloading is the best way to grow muscle, then why the fuck are these people in the gym running on the treadmill or the bikes? Why are people lifting the small weights or using the machines? And why is there dust on the dumbbells? 3 reasons, I think. Number 1, a sizable amount of the fitness community literally don't believe in overloading. Some believe you need to train your high twitch muscle differently than your high intensity muscle, and listen, they don't believe it, okay? They think you need X amount of hours or X amount of activity per week, and they don't believe it's as simple as just tear and fuck off. Technically, they aren't wrong, but the debate on this is over 100 years old, and we won't be finding a conclusion anytime soon. Overloading is unpleasant. Not as bad as burpees, but still not as fun as running on a mechanized treadmill for 2 hours. You won't believe how many people go to the gym just to say they go to the gym. You can sit on that fucking rowing machine for 4 hours every day, basically doing nothing but sweating and grunting like a fucking caveman, and that's good enough to fit in. Half the people you see at the gym are there to pose for the gram, put in their dues, and fuck off. Well, I sweat today, and my muscles are sore. Now that's good enough. I want to add on here that just because you're sweating, or you feel the burn, doesn't necessarily mean you tore any muscle fiber. Those sensations are mostly isolated. It may not seem like that because of how much magazines and other media portray the act of working out and how our culture has drawn it, but working up a sweat is working stupid. Tearing your muscle fibers is a 15-minute affair, and if you care about your time, so you can go home and watch Broadchurch before Netflix takes it down like the rest of your fucking series, you will lift weights. No machine, dumbbells or barbell, whatever works, then you fuck off. 3rd reason, niggas just don't know. Like I alluded to in reason 2, a lot of niggas will pull up at your gym just because there's a positive connotation that you can associate with yourself in conversation when you say you go to the gym. It shows conviction, dedication, knowledge, and other attractive qualities that you can use in your romantic or platonic pursuits. It can even help you get a job, but barely anyone walks in, lifts the heaviest shit they can find for 15 minutes, and walks out. Not only would you look absolutely retarded doing so, but you didn't stand there long enough for anyone to believe that you actually did anything worthwhile. Overload works, but the majority don't do it because the gym is a fucking sham. If you give a shit about working out, buy a weight set, go to your garage, and put your fucking work in. You will be rewarded with results within 6 months. Unlike dieting or any type of controlled eating, lifting weights have a direct and visible result on your body that you can see and feel. Okay, that was it. If you're small, there's a cap on how big you can get. If you want to break through that cap, you need anabolic steroids. You can still be plenty strong within your genetic limit. But if growing your size is what's important to you, then you need to consult with your doctor or your local gym dealer that goes around spotting anyone on the bench press. If you want to lose weight and not be fat, you gotta stop eating as much as you're eating and expend more than you consume. Working out is nice and all, but you're fat because you ate too much and you're still eating too much. Exercise is supplemental, proper eating is forever. Thank you for watching.